was doing with a friend of mine in the conversation was talking about coming up with your own look. So right now, even though I'm moving from this place, I'm still trying to create a look. So I think you'll see some of my videos that may look different in its color scheme and stuff. I'm gonna perfect it, I'm gonna find my thing, and I think you'll know when I do. Anyway, as I said, I'm getting ready to move. This is the last time I'm filming in this house. I'm gonna see how these work. I still do have my trusty mic. Did a review on it, look over here, and they're pretty nifty. I'm sort of copying lots of people who do this, but this Instagrammer I follow, and he's been doing it, so I thought I'd break mine out too. Oops. I'm gonna really perfect this whole look once I move into the new place. And last night, in part of my move, or yesterday, should I say, in part of my packing away and putting things away montage of me moving stuff, doing things taken down, you see the difference between what was in this place and what this place looks like as it's getting naked. So in the midst of all this moving, or supposed to be packing up and getting ready to move, I did a little mini photo shoot. I don't profess to be a photographer in no shape, way, or form. However, some things do apply when it comes to videography or photography. And that is the same rules apply to knowing your shutter angle, blah, 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 all that good stuff. But one of the things is understanding your space and shaping your light within that space. And that's one of the things that I'm still learning, which I think helps in me understanding what look I'm gonna be creating based on the lights and setup that I have. Now, what I used wasn't the best setup, but it did come for some interesting shots. But what I did use was the Canon T6 for this particular shot. I did not use my Sony a6600, in my opinion, a better tool. Once I left the Canon world and went to Sony world, I got very used to the Sony menu system and the looks that I would like to achieve through that camera, and having never touched any Canon cameras in quite some time, outside of the R5. One of the things that everybody understands that most Canon lovers love about Canon is the color. It's limited, it's not 4K. The highest it will go is 1080, but that's still, if you know what you're doing and you wanna play around with some things, it still could give you a good look video-wise. So I'm using the standard Canon 18 to 55 millimeter. Now this is the lens kit that you would get when you purchase one of these cameras, plus my favorite Nifty 50. I like the results that I got from the Nifty 50 more than I did with the 18 to 55. And both of these are made by Canon, and these are not by any means Canon's top of the line glass. But in the event, you know, the challenge was met. I'm working with a somewhat limited camera, but still got some decent shots. And this was for a young man's fashion line that he's coming out with, hoodies and things like that. And of course, Alyssa's my model because she's always available. So, you know, why not? Actually, she asked me to do this and I said, sure. And it will give me reason to talk to you guys about, hey, what was it like to try to be a pseudo photographer? And the experience is really, I'm not the greatest at it, but you know, hey, I might take my stab at dabbing into a little bit more photography stuff than I am with video. My lighting setup needs to be better. I don't want to say that it's because of the equipment that I have. It's just probably how I'm using the equipment in the space that I have, you know, and that's part of filmmaking. That's part of troubleshooting, you know, like how much time do you really want to put in to really fix the situation before you even start with the camera, before turning on the camera. That's one of the things I didn't spend a whole lot of time in planning so much, because I really kind of wanted to see what was going to happen when the person came on, what is he bringing, you know, I don't know what's really happening. So I had to really kind of wait. I've had lighting situations where I sat down, thought about it, and I actually figured it out. In this particular case here, I didn't really quite figure out the way I wanted it to look, because I don't think I'm using either I'm not using the lights correctly, which I think that's what it is, or I also believe I'm not pulling out all of my tools because, you know, guilty as charged. I'm a lazy filmmaker. I'm gonna keep it funky because I don't always like to do a whole lot of setting up. However, that is the purpose of a cinematographer. You have to know how to shape your room with the light that you have to tell the story that you want to tell. So I am lazy. I'm guilty of that. From this experience and knowing that I'm lazy, I would put more effort into building my sets with the lights that I have. And sometimes the equipment that you have may not necessarily be the one that you're looking for. You may want something a little bit more juice, and maybe your lights are the right lights, but not enough juice, not enough power to kind of kick in. Because, there's tricks where people usually use a light outside the window to punch into the window. However, those are usually much stronger lights, and the lights that I have are not really that strong. So I have to say, there may be something with the equipment that I have. I'm not too sure. Or do I have to get new equipment, or am I not using the equipment that I have correctly? It's one of the two, or one of the three. So I feel somehow there's lots for me to learn, but it's part of my job as a booming cinematographer, to know how to light so I know how I can get the shot that I want. And I also have to say that what I'm doing for a set on a photo shoot is slightly different from what I would do on a set for film, because there's different ways of telling that story. So I got lots to learn. So the T6 is still a pretty good camera. I don't want to make this a whole tutorial on the camera itself, but it's really not bad. And if you have one, I'm saying it's a good camera to start with, because the menu system is easy and you get what you can with what you get. Video capabilities with the Nifty 50 really do make the camera shine in my book, because I like that whole tight look, kind of what I am on now. But I'm on a 35 right now. So that's different. But the 50, ooh, yeah. I like to just put the 50 on itself and keep it there and just know how to plan my shots with that. That's something I do know how to do. So, however, I do like that Nifty 50 with that camera. It's open as wide as it could be. And then depending on the setting, it really does actually give me some decent shots. So I shot with a few shots with the 50, and I like what I got. For the most part, it all worked out. I did it. I'll do some more shots with it and play around with it and see what you guys think of the quality that comes from that camera versus what I'm working with now. Providing good light with any camera. Light is a key thing that makes most of your shots look good. It's not always necessarily the tool. It's really how you use the tool. And that's what I'm learning, how to use this tool to the best of my advantage. I've used it before and it worked fine. I just put it down and I pretty much forgot how to finagle through it a little bit, but I got it figured out and I'm gonna play with it some more. Even though it's an old camera, it's still a pretty good camera. It does the job that it needs to do. I think that's it for me today with that and this place. And yeah, so see you at the new place.